Chapter 3, Scene 4.
The scene is many years past, set in the reign of King Gaudry. Gaudry's palace has never felt so large. His daughter is 2 years old and endlessly explores its halls, dwarfed by every detail. By doorways, by halls, by servants, by guards, the grand tables and rich tapestries. Most every day, the king trails after her toddling steps and listens to her delighted squeals, rediscovering each of his familiar rooms with her fresher, wonder-drinking eyes. Some days, Flora, Torabin's daughter, wanders with them, ever her cousin's toddling shadow. And sometimes, when affairs of the crown drag Gaudry away from this precious ritual, Flora's mother, Viola, replaces him in shepherding the castle's youngest royalty. But today, it is as Gaudry prefers it. He and his daughter, alone, set loose to roam at will. The castle feels large to him, but not as it did after his wife died. Not vast and empty and cold, a thing too big for its purpose. Rather, it feels wondrous and full, a world awaiting exploration, where hidden rooms hold strange wardrobes and shining mirrors and satin drapes. The king is full, not happy. Happy is no longer in his cards, but he is full. He has purpose and a small soul to fill with all his love.
Daddy, watch! Watch me jump!
Gaudry watches.
Daddy, who's that?
That's your grandfather, my daddy.
The man in the painting is grey of hair, his jaw square and hard, his lips a thin, flat line. The crown stands high upon his brow, but there is a twinkle in his blue eyes, just the barest glint that whispers, "I was a man, not just a king."
I loved him very much, Lettuce.
Who was that, Daddy?
That was your grandfather's daddy.
Who's that, Daddy?
That was his daddy.
Where's his crown? Daddies have crowns.
Not all daddies.
He looks mean.
Yes, I suppose he does. I didn't know him, Lettuce. Maybe the paint is just unkind.
Letitia eyes the image warily, unwilling to blame the paint. The man depicted was a baron, not a king. He forged the crown he gave his son, forged it with a warhammer on anvil fields, and quenched it in blood.
Let's go to the kitchens.
Whatever for?
For rolls.
What if the cooks won't give us rolls?
Daddy, you're the king. They have to give you rolls.
Gaudry straightens his surcoat officiously and repositions an imaginary crown.
Quite. I'm not afraid of Miss Molly. Not at all.
She'll hit you with the spoon.
I'm the king. She wouldn't dare.
And like a falcon with its leather hood suddenly removed, Letitia flies off towards the kitchens, a flurry of flower-printed petticoats and bow-ridden hair, her father close behind.
All right, Lettuce. Time to be quiet. Are you ready? I'll creep behind the counter and hoist you up. You grab 2 rolls, and we'll run for it.
Ready.
Hey!
You struck the king!
Daddy's the king!
I'll smack the princess too if she doesn't pull those mitts away from my garlic rolls.
We're done for, Lettuce. Grab and run.
You're worse than the girl, Your Majesty. Protection bless you both.
The form of Ingway, who hovers in the kitchen, smiles. He wishes he could linger. But a scullery maid washing the dishes has a nagging cough. She is about to leave, and Ingway must follow her to her quarters, ready to lend his comfort. She is sweet and gentle, and should not die wholly alone. He does not see his other form in the hall, the one floating beside a guard who awaits the king.
Your Majesty.
Gaudry straightens and clears his throat, cleansing his voice and striving to seem kingly, even with his daughter perched upon his shoulders, dropping crumbs into his hair.
What is it?
There's a man in the foyer asking to see you. Calls himself Mathis. A farmer or something. He swears it's urgent.
Mathis, I know that name. I think. We'll send him to the throne room, but don't let him wander.
Of course, Your Majesty. And, if I may...
The guard makes a swiping motion at his own hair and points hesitantly towards the king's.
Of course. My thanks.
As the guard departs, Gaudry lowers his daughter to the floor and brushes the crumbs from his hair.
Molly! Come here. Stay with Molly, all right? Daddy needs to run a kingdom. I love you, dear.
Love you, Daddy.
Ah, Molly. Could you see to the princess for a bit? You can take her to a nurse if you're busy. Duty calls.
Of course, Your Majesty.
You're a jewel.
The king drops into his throne. His fresh purple robes splash over the armrests, and his crown feels oddly heavy, no matter how well it fits. He waves to a guard at the door. A man is admitted, looking ragged and discomfort between the guards who flank him. He might have been handsome beneath his grime. He has Gaudry's hair, but a life of servitude has left him simple and subdued. He twists a cap in his gnarled fists.
Approach and speak your piece. Mathis, is it?
Yes, Your Majesty, if it please you.
So far, I'm entirely indifferent. What brings you here?
Do you know me, Your Majesty?
No. Have we met?
In the oak stand, what people call noosewood now. You kiss my forehead, among others.
Oh. Yes, I know you now.
Your Majesty, I know it can't please you to see me,
It does not.
but I told you I was yours, and I meant it. There's men from the other day who lost their family in their fighting, who lost family in the famine.
Mathis's hand trembles as he lifts a crude scrap of paper.
There's names here, Your Majesty, names of men what mean you harm. You're giving a speech on the night of fire. They're gonna rush the stage, and they've got a man in your guard. He's going to kill you in the scuffle.
In my guard.
All the names are here.
How do you know this?
I was a leader 2 years ago, Your Majesty. They came to me for help.
And
I said yes, but just so I could get the names, I'm here. I told you I'm yours. I am.
Gaudry stands. He eyes the man with an expression too mingled to be readable.
if this is true, I may owe you my life.
Gaudry plucks the paper from Mathis's trembling hand. He scans the names and frowns as he realizes which of his guards is accused of treason.
If this is some form of game or sport, do not expect a merciful kiss.
No, Your Majesty.
You may go.
Mathis turns slowly and leaves, every footstep quickening as fear replaces anxiety.
Asher, look into this.
Gaudry holds up the scrap of paper and waits for his captain to take it.
If there is guilt here, do what is needed.
Of course, Your Majesty.
As the guards file from his throne room, Gaudry sinks back into his chair and steeples his fingers before his lips, lost in thought.
So this is the price of mercy.
Ingway departs after the guards, hovering beside the one who coughs. He faces the same fate as the maid, though his death is still another day distant.
The Fall of Ingway, Chapter 3, War.